Well, welcome back to Rickets Reef Day, whatever it is. I'm testing out the new Fujifilm, well, it's not new, but new to me, Fujifilm S2000 HD camera. I had to return my old camera, which could only do 480p or 420p or whatever it is. This one does 720. In a couple of months, I'm looking at getting the 1080p Kodak PlaySport waterproof one that's coming out. So this one's just going to kind of hold me over in the interim. I played with it a little bit. The zooming's a little off, so you're going to have to excuse some of the zooming. So let's go through some of the bad things that have happened so far. Yeah, we'll do the bad news first and then the good news. Okay, first bad news. The most tragic part since the sump blew up on itself was Burger jumped out. Yeah, pretty sad. If you notice, there's only one clown now. Good old Fry. His friend Burger, I came down the next morning and he was sitting right about there, I guess in the middle of the night. He hopped out and went carpet surfing. Sad, but he was my favorite. Again, I gotta stop picking favorites every time I do. They seem to kill themselves. That's not a good sign. Anyway, next bad thing that kind of happened is I accidentally left my lights on an extra 5 hours because I had a party and everyone was loving the tank. So a couple of the SBS are not looking so hot, but most of them are doing good. The ones that aren't, they're slowly pulling through, it seems like. And the last thing that's kind of bad is just more of a kind of a warning, lesson hard learned. No matter how many times you open up a tube of super glue with your mouth, with your teeth, it's not a good idea. Yeah, I had a tube of super glue. I turned the cap off with my teeth because I had something in my other hand, and the whole tube just blew the hell up in my mouth. And let me tell you, getting a mouthful of super glue gel is not a good idea. Your teeth fuse together really quick, and it took me about an hour and a half to really get that stuff manageable, and then it took me another couple of days of just random scraping and picking and rubbing my lips and it's not a good idea. Don't do it. Alright, now for the good news. Good news. Okay, let's actually take a look at these corals and see how they're doing with this new camera. You're gonna have to excuse some of my my focusing challenges with this. Oh yeah, last other challenge is I'm going through a crazy diatom bloom. If you notice, I have got brown all over most of my rocks, a pretty thick coverage of diatoms. Now it's actually not as bad as it was a couple of days ago, so it's showing signs of dying off. I also just threw in 30 snails yesterday, so I'd imagine the next few days they're going to start working really hard on these diatoms and cleaning it up pretty good, which I've already noticed some good signs here and there of them doing that. So we'll get it under control with the combination of the snails and the water changes and so on and so forth. Okay, the corals. Yeah, some highs and lows with these tanks. It's great. There's a couple of the new snails there. Those are the good ones. They flip themselves over. These red zoes, excuse me, Custard, doing fine. I think once the diatoms get ed up and moved, they'll do a lot better. The premium zoes are still doing okay.